Hi, thanks for stopping by today. I thought I'd share with you today about a type of project that I like to do when I just want some busy work, or I'm tired at the end of the day, or I want to sit in my chair and watch TV with my husband or something. But I want to keep my hands busy, and I'm not pulling papers, I'm not marking papers, meaning paper piecing papers, not teaching papers, but something that I want to do just to keep myself busy. And they're really cute little projects. And I thought I would show you what they are. They are called mini, there you go, mini mosaics. And they are just really sweet. And I thought I would just show you what they are. So we're going to head on over to the work table so I can give you a little bit of a look-see. So here it is. This is the pattern. Well, it's what it came in. This is the cover photo for the package of the pattern that I came in. Now, the finished size, it says here, the finished size is 11 by 7, like 11 by 14, and it gives you the things that you'll need, the directions. What comes in here is the pattern, the directions, stabilizer, and the tool. Then you'll need tweezers, small sharp scissors, thumbtacks, which I do not use, masking tape, and a foam cord board. Well, I don't necessarily use that either. Actually, a clipboard works. I think a clipboard works better than that. So if you use a clipboard, you don't need the foam board or the thumbtacks. But I think it's worth saying that there's different ways to do the same thing. Um, and then they talk about something else to get, which is called the mini cutting guide. And I'll show you that, and I'll actually demo that for you in a minute. But there's the cover photo. This turtle is my very first one. It is completed. It is all quilted and bound, and it's all finished. But what I want to tell you that is it is just a fun project. This is my first, and I thought, well, I need to do another one. And so this is not the second one that I've done. I'll come back to this one in a minute. This is the second one that I've done. And this is it's at a stage that I want to show you in a minute, but I have to say it's really fun. There's a layer of tulle across it, which comes with how you will finish it when you go to sew it. But there's not much here. I need to put a backing on it. This is a very thin layer of Warm and Natural. That's all there is. And then there is a piece of fabric here. Every pattern that comes, it comes basically with a line drawing, which is like this. It's just a piece of paper with a line drawing on it. And what you can't see right now is that this is a piece of double-sided fusible stabilizer. This has the paper on it still, and I won't peel the paper off of that until I have the front completed, and then I will iron that to the a piece of fabric like I did with this one, which has a piece of fabric under here. Okay, so there's all of this little bits of mosaic uh, fabric, and it's been put onto a tacky surface of this stabilizer that will then be ironed when it's time. But we'll get to that in just a second. But here is what I find to be a really fun project. Now, I have completed all the way down to here. When you first begin your project, let me show you how I set this up. And this is different. This is not in the instructions anywhere because this is just what I found that works the best. So this is a piece of parchment paper that I have just taken from my kitchen, and I folded it up so that it would be underneath here and this. As I progress with this tacky, I will peel this down, and you can see through there. It's tacky. You can hear it. It's tacky. But I like to go from the top down. And so as I've gone and progressed, I will cut a piece of this parchment or this paper off that was attached to this. So if I want to work in this area, I will take this off or cut it off, and then in order to protect everything that comes after that, I will either fold it down or use that piece of parchment paper, and I will take it back up to the top. But it allows me to have an area to rest my hand without getting the sticky on my hand or wearing all of that sticky off with my the oils from my hands or whatever. Uh, but what you can see is that as we take this paper off, this that protects the tacky side of this, you start to see the line drawing that's underneath. Now I've shifted it a little bit. You can see that I've shifted it just a little bit because I took my clips off, but I can just adjust that. You can see how I can move that up and down. There you go. So I'm going to line this back up again and get this where it needs to be so that I can return back to what I want to do. So now that I have it repositioned and it's all real good, I'm going to clip it back together again. And I just use paper clips. I use a lot of paper clips in everything that I do. But if I just will get it lined up where I want it, and then I can clip it in place. For the first part, I mean, what I'm doing is clipping the line drawing to this top of the piece. Now after that, I'm going to clip this paper clip, the parchment paper in place so that it will protect where I rest my hand. I'll even fold this down so that I can have something to work a bigger spot. But if I clip it, then I don't shift it out of the way. It's nice to have more than one place for your clips to go. So there we go. And if I've got it in the clipboard and I've got it all set up, I just take it to my chair and I sit down and I can place my things. I'm going to actually take this out from behind here so that I can show you a little bit more clearly how I begin to work my project. So I might have, well, first of all, let me do this. I'm going to show you how I store all of my little mosaic pieces. And yep, this is a cupcake paper container, but I have lots of these little mosaic pieces of fabric already cut, and these are 4 different shades of blue, and I've got orange and I've got red. What am I looking for? I'm probably going to look for some green because I want to do some of the grass here that's on the side of it. And let's see if I can find it. Well, I don't have the green in there, but what I really want to show you is that you can use like a cupcake tin if you want to have all of your colors laid out. And if you don't, when you need to put it away and you need to use the cupcake tin or whatever, this works like, this is like such a little charm to be able to put these back in here, and away we go. So there we go. I'm just going to stuff them back in there. They don't have to have any special order to them. I just want to get them all back in there. Yeah, there we go. There's red. And then you can just put the lid back on it. And there you go. You've got all those little pieces nice and tidy. Now, if you don't have before I had that, I had this, which is a roll of painter's tape. And I put something hard or a piece of paper, taped it up underneath there. And I needed more colors. So here's the rest of what my stash is. You can see there's a piece of paper there, and it's just taped on there. And when I'm done with that stack, I'll just cover it back up. And then it's going to hold on to it for a little while. If I need the painter's tape, I'll have to find something else. But let's see. I'm still looking for some green. There's black and 2 browns, yellow and white, and a little bit different color white. There's my green. Okay, there we go. This is the color that I'm going to start with. So when I'm doing this, once I get my papers, everything set up, and I've figured out what I want, I'm going to use my little Gooseneck tweezers. And it helps to mix up your fabric. So I've got a kind of a dark green, and I've got a little bit of a Let's see, you can see that better maybe on a piece. Let me get a little piece of paper so you can see these better. There you go. Now you can see them a little better. But what I want to show you too, and help you see, is that there's this a triangle shape right there, but I don't have any triangles. I'm cutting all of these into squares. So, but I like that green right there, and I want to put it there. But it's if I put it there and I stick it, then what happens next is that I'm covering up some of those blues. I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to reach my little serrated edge, serrated blade scissors. Get this, there we go. Serrated blade scissors that I can just kind of get underneath there. Maybe I want to just, I'll just cut an angle on that, see if that'll work. Then I can place it a little bit better. Do I like it there? I sure do. Maybe I'm gonna pull that little bit of blue right up there that's like water. I just want to trim that off a little bit, make it a bit straighter. It went flying and I'll go get it. But here we go. There's this, like that. Okay, now I'm going to put another piece here, and I'm going to follow this line. It doesn't have to be perfect, but there's that. And mosaic tiles are just kind of like put in there. Oh, I like that little skinny little sliver. I think the important thing to tell you is that you don't throw any of these little pieces away. So you don't want to leave a huge space in between them, but you do want to put them in there so that they have at least enough space in between them where you can sew in between. I want to have more of a curve on that, or more of an angle on it. There we go, like that. That's kind of what I want to do. And it's just a little bit of fine tuning. You can mix and match how your pieces go together so that you can follow a curve or follow the line. The line drawings are exactly where you're going to end up. So you want that to follow those shapes, and how you lay your fabrics on there is going to help that to happen. There's not there is no rhyme or reason to how you do this, but you want to make sure that you cover the surface. Now what I can see right there is that I need a triangle. I need another triangle to go in there, and I get to choose what I want. So it's more of a pie wedge. So I'm going to trim off. You can see how I'm doing this. I'm going to trim off that corner of that piece, and oh, nope, that's not kind of, I'm going to trim off another piece, make it more like a pie wedge, which is what I see that as being. So here we go. I'm going to put that in there. Is that too big? No, but I am going to move this to the side. But they're sticky, so you can pick them up and put them down and just kind of be fussy with it. I just want to give another little angle to that to make it sort of fit a little better. But the thing about this is that I'm using up what fun little scraps that I really want to have in there. I want to see them in there, and I want to make sure that it's going to give me a nice variation in color and movement and shape. The other thing that you do want to try to keep in mind is that mosaic tiles, the one thing that they really do kind of do is have a line, so that when you go to sew this, you will sew it eventually. You're going to sew in a line, and that is actually what would be considered a grout line. So it's okay to have some open areas. It's okay to have some areas that are really, really close together, because it's representing handmade items. So that's it. That is the technique. There's a little bit of organization, and there's some tips and tricks that I just showed you about how I do these, but there's really nothing extra special to it. And as I work through this, I will come down here and I'll fold this down, and there's rocks. So I'm going to have like brown and gray and maybe some lichen on top of that, where the grass or whatever would kind of fall over onto it. And that is exactly how I will finish it. I only have maybe 2 inches left, and then this one will be done as well. It will be completed as far as the fabric placement. But before we get to that next step, what I'm going to show you is how in the world do we get those little itty bitty tiny pieces of fabric. And this is a ruler that comes with it. It's called the Mini Mosaic. There we go. It's the Mini Mosaic Cutting Guide. This is something that's recommended. It is not required. You can do this. These are all 1/2 inch cuts, but this goes faster. Believe me, it goes a lot faster, and it's a lot easier to do it when you have this little gem in your possession. So what I'm reaching for right now is a piece of fabric, and I'm going to show you how I trim that up. Let's see, I want to pick a color that I don't have a lot of. I don't have a lot of brown variation. So I'm just going to grab this. This is a sweet little color. It's kind of a wood color, but I think it's easy to see. And it's not, there's nothing particularly special about that fabric, but I am going to cut out the the manufacturer's name, because why bother cutting it into smaller pieces when I can get it out of the way now. So there's nothing special about how you do it except you just lay it on your fabric. And then you want to take a 45. A 28 does not have a tall enough blade to get through the ruler. It rides on top. This part rides on top of that ruler, so you can't really get a cut. So you need a 45. So I love the ergonomic handle, because then you can like lock it open. And truly all you're going to do is you're going to put it into the little rungs or the little lines, and you can hear it cut. You want to be careful with your blade so you don't scrape it across anything. And you just are going to go down every line until you get to the end. Now, the reason that you do this is this is the first step. It's really kind of important. You got to at least go through all of the lines here. And I'm going to just pick the ruler up. I'm not going to move anything out of the line, but I have a rotating mat. This rotating mat is really, really sweet, because then all I do is I rotate the mat. It's a new one, so it's a little bit sticky. Not sticky, but it's not as easy to rotate just yet, because I haven't used it much. It's brand new. So now all these lines are here. They're going this way. I need to make little squares and mosaic tiles. So I'm going to then put this on here. They don't have to be square. They can be kind of whopper jawed or wonky. They just need to be cut up. So here we go. There you can start to hear it. And once you get going, you can move along pretty quickly. Okay, just 2 more. And I think that's all there are underneath that. Yep, that's all there are underneath that. So when you pick it up, that wasn't cut, and this one is long. I can cut that a little bit more myself, but that wasn't really cut. Some of it was, and I'll go through with my little scissors. But look at this is what you get then. You have a lot of little tiny pieces. And it's okay to save pieces like this that are like lines or crooked things. You don't need to throw those little tiny pieces away. Guess you will use them. You'll find a place for them, and that's what makes it so awesome. Instead of using tile and nippers like tile layers do when they do these, we have scissors and rulers. And that's all there is to it. That's how you make your little tiny pieces of fabric. And I've showed you how to place them onto your sticky side of your double-sided fusible interfacing. But now we're going to talk about the next thing. Let's go back to the work table, and I'll show you what we do after we have the top of it done. Now I'm going to just kind of move this off of the table. There we go. That's off the table. And I'm going to put them in their own little cup, little paper cup holder. So what I showed you before is here's one that is nearly done. It's a flamingo, and I spent a lot of time getting the right shades of pink and orange in there for that beak. But when it's all done and you have all of your um, t- fabric tiles in place on that sticky thing, what you're going to do is on the back of that is another paper to protect that tacky side. You're going to take that off, and then you're going to put it onto the back side or the front side, it doesn't really matter, of a neutral colored fabric, because you want this to start looking like grout. And if you put a color behind it, it'll change what the grout looks like. So you want to experiment. Until you take that paper off, you won't really know what it's going to look like. But once you get that paper off and you have it the size that you need it and the position the way you want it, then you're going to iron everything together. Um, Take it to your ironing board, just this, not this. That's the batting. Just take this to your iron, and then you want to protect your iron as well, because in between these little lines is tacky stuff. So you put a layer of parchment paper on top of it and iron. You want to press and set, press, lift, press and set, press and set. And you want to do it like this across the top of that little mosaic piece, because that's what's making the top tiles bond with the tacky tacky stabilizer that you were working on, and it also makes that tacky stabilizer bond with your backing of this. This could be done, but it's not, because it's just a light adhesive bond. Over time, it will come off. And what if you're running your fingers over it, you can begin to feel that the fabric doesn't lay ideally perfectly flat. There's ridges and there's little bumps in the fabrics and stuff like that. So the thing to do to keep this in place, and that's part of the instructions and what's included in the pattern, is there is a sheet of tulle that comes, and you will lay this tulle over your piece just like this. I like to leave it kind of even on all sides like this. There you go. Now you have a layer of tulle, you have your tile sheet, you affixed to its backing, you have a layer of batting, and I just need to get a layer of backing all the way on it. So you have a sandwich. That's what makes it a quilt. So when you're ready, then you take it to your sewing machine, and you'll use a neutral color thread that will look uh, match nicely with what you've got in the background. And then you will start someplace, and you'll want to sew a line and go like this. And basically, that's all the sewing that you do. Now, keep in mind that you'll have to watch where these tiles are, because there is a tile here and a tile here, like this and like this. And this one spans it, kind of like a brick would. So you can't always just go all the way to the top, because otherwise you'd sew right through these. So you want to make sure that you follow the grout lines, literally the lines that you have left spaces in. And then when you've got a section stabilized like that, you'll come in and you'll do crossways. If you can go across, then that's good. This is its own unique spot. And this blade of grass, again, is its own unique spot. So I would only go like this, and then I'd find a way, maybe sew over itself again, and then come down and do this, and sew across here and here and here. Oh, that is like one big long one. Sometimes you can do that. You just have to make sure that you know that where your grout lines are. When you, like on this S curve of a neck, you can do one long thing up until you get to about the eye. And then you'll have to come back, and you go back down here until, oh, isn't that cool? It goes down to here, and then that's a big one. These are split until it comes like this. So this becomes its own special spot. But that's how you secure it, and that's what this is, and that becomes how you see the quilting in it. You can see the turtle in how you quilted that. Well, how I quilted it actually. You can see the turtle, you can see the waves, and so the quilting lines are mirrors of the grout lines, and that's it. That's so cool. I really really enjoy it. In the comments below is a website for the person that developed this. It's what? Let me see what her name is again. Her name is Cheryl Lynch, and her website is CherylLynchQuilts.com. And that'll be the link will be down in the comments, and you can go there and see what she has. Um, Her patterns are maybe a little bit more difficult to find these days. I can still find them on YouTube and different places. Not YouTube, excuse me, on Amazon and different places, and different quilt shops might carry a few left. But if this technique will work on any line drawing, you can go to get a coloring book. You can draw a picture yourself, whatever it is. Or if your kids have a picture that you just adore, you can create a line drawing from that and use the very same technique and turn it into a little mini mosaic quilt. I love it. You can do flags or your state flowers. How cool is that? It's something that I just think is a really sweet little thing. They make great little gifts and fun little things to do just to keep your hands busy and still use up all those scraps. So that's it in a nutshell. Thanks so much for stopping by. This is a fun little video for me to do for you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and click like as well. Subscribing will give you the notification directly about every time I post content. And if you like it, what you see, then that helps me know that you've been here. So I really enjoy this, and I hope you are having a good time with it too. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.